how an organization runs, how an organization functions. This is what you will understand in the operational, transferring authority and responsibility. Why they do it? To enable the holder of the position. That student, scalar chain is a military concept where communication happens from the top level to the bottom level. The levels of management, it depends on the nature and size of business. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to One and All. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students here. Now welcome to the fourth session of the third chapter, that is organizing and staffing. Now here, if you understand organizing and staffing, we are yet to come to the staffing. Now we are dealing with the organizing only. Here you need to understand the topic, that is operational structure. Now last session I have told you about the principles of organizing. There we have studied the first principle. Now we are in the second principle, that is operational principles or operational structure. Now here you need to understand, whenever we go with the operational, the things are very clear. Operational principles of organization could be suggested to be those which have a bearing on the running or functioning of the organization. That is, how an organization runs, how an organization functions. This is what you will understand in the operational principles. That is, they are going for a real operation of a task or a work, and all the employees need to listen to the top level management and their superiors. So we have like levels of management. The same way you have the communication as such, that is from the top, whatever they tell, that is what should be done by the middle level, and then it will be followed by the supervisor level, and then so on. So here operational principle always say that how exactly a person should work, how exactly a team should move, that is what will be covered in the operational principle. So some important principles under this category are, as the first one is principles of adequate delegation. Adequate delegation. I'll tell you what exactly this delegation is. Delegation is always, we term it as transfer of authority and responsibility. That is called delegation. Now here delegation, you need to know that it is a temporary kind of a format, but sometimes what happens is, because they have transferred authority and responsibility to a subordinate, and the subordinate has done really good, then what happens is the delegation becomes permanent for that particular person. That means he'll retain the post of getting the more authority and responsibility. Next one, we have a scalar chain principle. Please understand the word scalar chain. Now scalar chain is a military concept where the line of communication from the top to bottom it reaches. So that is called scalar chain. And we have principles of unity of command, and the last one is authority level principle. Authority level principle. So these are the principles which we are supposed to understand. In the operational, we have four principles. The first one is principles of adequate delegation, then scalar chain, then the principles of unity of command. If you understand scalar chain and unity of command, you can actually research more about these in the Henry Fayol 14 principle, where Henry Fayol, he announces that there should be something called scalar chain and unity of command. So unity of command means what? Each employee should have one boss. So that employee will actually report to only one boss. That's why we say that there is always something called subordinate and superior. Now you have one subordinate and one superior. So the subordinate will actually take all the orders and things from the superior, and superior will make a decision and he'll actually render the work to the subordinate, and the subordinate should do it. So these are the principles which we are supposed to go through. The first one here is principles of adequate delegation. Now by the principle of adequate delegation, we mean that each managerial position be provided with adequate or necessary or requisite authority to enable the holder of the position, the manager, to cope successfully with the requirement of his job. That means what? Each and everybody will be getting their own authority and their own responsibility. I'll just draw a segment where you can understand this. Now we have, say, there is a person called managing director, and now we have, let's go with only two of the examples so that you can understand better. We'll go with one of the HRM, human resource manager, and we have a person called the finance manager. Now let's go with HR manager. Will have his own team where we will denote them as A, then B, and C. In the same way, finance manager will have two of his associate. Let's call them as D and E. Now understand the levels of management as well. Now you have a top management, you have a middle management, and a supervisory management. Now here, let's go and let's take one more example. Now A will be a person, a boss for people like X and Y. Now done. Now understand this. Managing director have authority as well as he have responsibility. What is that he has? He has authority and responsibility. The same way, each and everybody will have their own authority as well as responsibility. When you understand here, if it goes to the down from top to bottom, the authority will flow. The authority will flow, right? And from bottom to top, like this, from here to here, the responsibility will be more. So that is what the authority and responsibility thing is. Now here, please understand, that is principle of adequate delegation, transferring authority and responsibility. Why they do it? To enable the holder of the position. That is, they are giving what? By the principle of adequate delegation, we mean that each managerial position be provided with adequate authority. So everybody will have some or the other authority. Say example, MD will tell something to the HR manager. Now here what happens is, MD has authority, responsibility. That's the reason he gives the order to the HRM. The same way, HRM manager, that is human resource manager, will also have authority and responsibility, and that is the reason he will also give these tasks or small tasks to A, B, or C. Now, can A give any of the task or duty to HRM manager, that is human resource manager? No, because he don't have that much authority to tell something to the HR manager to get the things done. So that's the reason the authority flows from top to bottom. The same way here also, A will also have authority and responsibility, and that's the reason he will assign the duties to the X and Y. Now I was just talking about authority. Now why there should be responsibility? Without responsibility, if you give a person only the authority, what happens is he can do anything and he'll not be controlled. So that's the reason Henry Fayol also says that a person without responsibility will not be a right person to get the work done, because he'll become a dictator. That's the reason you are supposed to have authority, plus you should have some responsibility towards your job. So that is called principles of adequate delegation. Next we have is scalar chain principle. Students, scalar chain is a military concept where communication happens from the top level to the bottom level. That means what all the plans are done by the top level need to inform the each and every people in the lower level also. That is, from the top level, it should reach to the lower level. That is called scalar chain. That is the movement of communication from top to bottom. Now here you need to understand, scalar chain implies a chain of superiors ranging from highest rank to the lowest rank in an organization. That means from top to bottom, say from top to bottom, they are supposed to go. Now here scalar chain, what happens is, say example, you have a top level management here, a middle level, and the supervisory. That is what the scalar chain is. It's a chain which is, you're not supposed to break it. The scalar chain forms the base of authority responsibility relationships among managers and subordinates in the organization. This promotes mutual understanding among superiors and subordinates at different levels of the organization. Now here you will get a clarity about who should listen to whom, who is giving the work, and who should report whom. So that kind of chain where people will get to know that whom you are supposed to talk to. That is called scalar chain. Now I have given a blank slide here where I'll be writing what exactly the scalar chain is. It's a 5-mark question. If they ask you write a note on scalar chain, you are supposed to write this with a diagram. Now here scalar chain, let's go with this. The levels of management, it depends on the nature and size of business. The same way, let's go with this. We have tiers, right? That is, in a management we have more of tiers. Let's go with this. Now say here there is a person called O. Let's go with A, B, C, D. The same way here, A dash, B dash, C dash, and D dash. Now understand how scalar chain works. Now here towards your right, you have people from say finance department, and here you have people from marketing department. Let's go with this. Now A and A dash both are in the same level. The same way B with B dash, C with C dash, and D with D dash. That means same level people. Now if a financial team wants to talk to the marketing team, that is, communication should happen. It shouldn't happen randomly or informally. You are supposed to go with formal communication. That formal communication is only called as scalar chain. So how exactly it happens is, anything which is planned by O, that is the top level management. Now if he needs to tell it to D or D dash, he will not go personally and communicate with D dash or D. He should actually tell this to A as well as A dash. Now his work is done. Now whatever the boss was supposed to do, his work is done. Now A will communicate it to B, from B to C, from C to D. The same way, A dash to B dash, from B dash to C dash, and C dash to D dash. Now the communication is done. This is called scalar chain. It's a chain. Okay, done. Sir, but time consuming, that is what the demerit of scalar chain is. So that's the reason there is one kind of a communication. Say example, sir, if D wants to tell something to A, what is that he should do is, he cannot communicate directly. He cannot meet A directly. He need to first tell this to C, from C to B, from B to A. Now the communication is done. Hope you people are getting the communication, how exactly it is. Now, supposingly, there is an emergency. And person C wants to communicate something to C dash. Now what really happens? He can actually go directly and he can talk, or they can talk. At the same subordinates level, they can actually talk. But according to scalar chain, you cannot do it because it is informal communication. There is one particular thing called as gang plank. What is this gang plank? That is, only in case of emergency, the same level of subordinate can communicate each other. That is called gang plank. Or else, how it should be, if C should talk to C dash, now C will tell this to B, from B to A, from A to O, O to A dash to B dash, and B dash to C dash. That is how the scalar chain communication should happen, but only in case of emergency. In case of what? Emergency. These things will happen. This is called the gangplank, as well as the entire process of whatever we go with the communication from the top level to the lowest level, we call that as scalar chain. Next one is principles of unity of command. Now, according to Henry Fayol, the unity of command means each employee should have one boss. The same way where I have drawn saying that there are tires, right? Now we had O here, A, B, C, A dash, B dash, and C dash. Now understand, for C, who is the boss? It is B. For B, who is the boss? It is A. For A, who is the boss? It is O. That is, each and every employee will have one boss. That is called unity of command. The above stated principle implies that an employee must receive orders and instructions only from one superior at a time. Now, C should never get any kind of instruction or order from A and B or O. He should only receive from his superior, that is only one person. That is what the unity of command is all about. Now, the observance of this principle is desirable for reasons of removing doubts and confusion. Now, if everybody start giving him orders, what happens is he'll have a confusion, should I do this or should I not do it? And the mind of the employee, and for facilitating exact fixation of responsibility on individuals for the results expected of them. So here what happens is C should receive from B itself, B should receive from A itself, and A should receive from O itself. So this is what the unity of command is. So who should give command? That is, O will give command to A will give it to B, and B will give it to C. That is what it is. At a time, one person should actually give the instruction or the command. Next is authority level principle. Authority level principle. Now, the authority level principle implies that managers at a particular levels in the management hierarchy must decide only those matters which fall within the purview of the authority vested in their managerial position. Say, supposingly in a company, I have been given one post. So whatever I have the authority, only those things I should do it. I should never take few of the tasks which I'm not authorized to. So you are supposed to stick to what is given to you. So the rules and regulations you are supposed to check properly, and the authority level you are supposed to estimate which I can do and which I cannot do it. A natural extension of this principle is that if a manager at any level of the management hierarchy come across a matter not covered by his authority, the matter must either be referred upwards in the hierarchy or pushed down the hierarchy at the appropriate level for decision. So if say example, we had the same A, B, C, D kind of a thing. So if B, he cannot do that because he is not authorized to do it, he should push it forward to A. That is what B should do it, because it will not come under his sector. So this is called authority level principle. And thank you so much, students. Hope you have understood this. If you not, please watch it again, or else you can call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.